Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer. This is a little bit of a rough and ready video today. I'm sorry about that. Normally I've got, a bit of lighting going on if I'm inside, something a bit more thought-provoking and all of that, or if I'm outside, lots of edits and all the rest of it. It's just a miserable day. Been clearing up in the studio. I don't know whether you are a watcher of my other channel, the Vobes Show. I'll put a link in the description. And the Vobes Show is it's a sort of light-hearted, comic, sometimes ranty show about all sorts of subjects, interaction with the audience that we're slowly building up. We go live at 8 o'clock in the UK on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. And the lovely Julia often joins me. Mr. Suggett was with us last night. We had a discussion about land, and you know that I've been looking at food, growing one's own food, and the depletion of the minerals and the nutrients in the land and all that kind of stuff. And it's a great way to engage with the audience in a live way. So sometimes some of the subjects that I cover in the Bald Explorer kind of get taken over into the Vobes Show as well. Anyway, that's really sort of a by the by, but if you did watch that, you'll know that I was using a new piece of apparatus. And so this video is really a bit of a thank you video. I'm aware that I don't thank my patrons enough, my patrons enough. You often see other YouTube videos and they say, I'd like to thank my patrons and my PayPal people and this and that and that. And sometimes you get names coming up and all of that. And I'm aware that I don't really do that. And if you are a patron of the Bald Explorer, you really get from me is a podcast every day, which is a sort of a raw, a bit like this really, but in audio form, a sort of podcast that just gives you an update of my last 24 hours, things I've been doing, projects that are going on, and also sometimes bits of philosophy that I have, maybe misguided, and things that are concerning me, perhaps bits in the news that I'm reacting against, all that kind of nonsense. So that's really what goes on in The Naked Englishman. I don't have the time, to be honest with you, to make new videos or separate videos for the patrons, and I wish I could, because I feel like I always feel like I'm never giving enough, and people are so generous and they're supporting me, and I really appreciate it. The comments that you give, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube, depending on which platform you watch the videos, I do read. I don't always get a chance to comment on them, and so sometimes it's just a like or a thumbs up or whatever it is, but I do my best, and so I really appreciate all of that. But so that's sort of a bit of background to what I'm saying. Sometimes we do things, or I ask for assistance on specific projects, and fairly early on, one of the things that I did with the Bald Explorer was went to Glastonbury, and we did a bit of a fundraiser, and many people came forward and donated some money towards it, so that the lovely Julia and I could go to Glastonbury, which we did, and we had a fantastic time there, hoping to go back actually fairly soon, meet up with a lovely chap there called Gabriel, who is a resident of Glastonbury and knows the area, has made some videos and has been on my YouTube channel sending in videos. He's got his own YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description. Very nice chap, and hopefully going to go and do some more exploring in that area and on the Somerset levels and all of that. So now that we're getting out of this COVID thing, and hopefully we can get back into exploring, I realised that there's something that's frustrating me, is I'm not able this year to do what we were doing last year, and that is to get out and about and explore and go places. And also I've been looking, as you know, about the sort of monoculture and the farming thing, and trying to work that bit out for myself, and looking at food and nutrients and all of that, influenced by the books that I happen to be reading, and people do recommend books to me, which is absolutely fantastic, and I love all of that. So we did that as a fundraiser a couple of years ago, and we've last year we went on a few places, and people donated. This time, about 2 months ago, excuse me, it must have been about 2 months ago, there was a piece of kit that I was very keen to purchase, but it was about £800. And it was just at the beginning of lockdown, and because it was in lockdown there was a delay in getting the products because a lot of people wanted them. It proved very, very popular and people were after it, and I put in a deposit for it and did a bit of crowdfunding, and many of you have contributed to that. So this is really a big thank you. The device is this. It may look to many of you like, well, what is it? It's just a little box. It's called the ATEM Mini Pro, and what it is it's a camera mixer. So what it does is it cuts, if you're doing a live broadcast, you can cut from 4 different cameras, from camera 1 to camera 2 to camera 3 as you go. And in fact, I tried, it came yesterday and I utilized it yesterday. It's made by Blackmagic and they're very reliable. What it does is you put an HDMI feed in from a camera, say, such as this, just an ordinary Handycam type thing, and you take an output from there and it goes into this magic box. You can have up to 4 cameras. You can do lots of other things within the software that comes with it on your PC that it works with, and you can cut from camera to camera. And it makes live, particularly live stuff, although you could do it in a recording environment. I guess if I had been very clever, which I hadn't been, just thinking aloud, I could have actually put 2 or 3 cameras in and demonstrated, because I could have recorded all of these in a live situation. But you will see this if you're watching any of the, if I carry on doing some more Bald Explorer lives, and particularly on the Vobes show lives where there are guests, chances are we'll be doing that. I want to have some long leads so that I can go and utilize it in my kitchen with the Essie and doing some live cooking shows, exploring recipes and things. Lots of ideas for things to do. Sometimes it just takes a long time to get them done, but we've been waiting for this so that we can do some more stuff. This is also going to be great for when I'm traveling about on location, assuming that there is a place that has internet, and say the lovely Julia and I are there, or we've got another guest with us, or I'm with other people and we set up a number of cameras in an outdoor location, even or a discussion where we want to do something on the fly. This little gadget should be quite good for that. So I really just want to say thank you very much. Thank you very much for supporting the Bald Explorer and the Vobes show, and for everything that you do. I know that we have a small number of super supporters who put in and donate quite regularly substantial sums of money, and I'm really indebted to them, but also to the others who've, you know, occasionally put in £1 a month, have become a patron, or just make one-off donations from time to time, or even just regularly share and like and help get the word out in what this channel, which is still embryonic, trying to figure out what its purpose is and where it's going. Obviously, I'm interested in heritage, landscape and nature, and they're so broad, you know, and the exploring bit, I try not to educate and pretend to be an expert. I do read a fair bit, and I try to, what's gone in, if I don't get it out, I will forget it. So sometimes I'll read something and it'll come out, but I don't want you to think that just because I've read something and I'm thinking about it, that is my fully fledged opinion. You know, for example, yesterday I put a video out about how the earth is calling me, and I want to get into the land, and I want to grow my own crops, and I want to do things, and I'm very, very passionate about doing that. And then this morning I noticed that the poppies that I planted several weeks ago on the front of my house, a dog has come in and decimated them, pulled them up, it's pooed in there, trod in the poo, they pulled out the poppies. And it just suddenly brought home to me that if you've got land and you're planting food, you know, you may do everything that you want, but the world and its brother the animals and the nature is going to work against you, and you're going to come across pitfalls. And even then I was thinking, oh God, my poor little poppies have taken a turn for the worse. What's it going to be like if I've got a whole load of land? Maybe I oughtn't do it. So yeah, fickle is a way to describe me. Just trying to work out where I am, what I'm trying to do in this broad heritage, landscape and nature. I still want to get out and about. Oh, and I may have mentioned that I'm trying to sell my dad's house. He died a couple of years ago. My sister and I have inherited the house. It's been 8-9 months now trying to sell it, and we thought we were going to sell it, and I thought, great, this is it. I can now think about looking for land and seeing the potential and doing that. But the chain that we're in fell through, and it could be another 6 weeks or another 6 months before we find another buyer. And so, you know, life throws these things at you and you never quite know how you're going to cope. So and one of the things that I was also looking at was either buying a van and doing it up into a camper van, or buying a camper van, second-hand camper van, and getting some more touring done. I want to get out and I want to explore. So do have some of these setbacks, but you guys have been a constant and I appreciate you very much. So, you know, when it comes to the fundraising, I hope you'll see some of the stuff that you've helped support come into action. So thank you very much for this. It's very much appreciated, and hopefully more shows will come where we're using these things, which will make the shows more entertaining and interesting. Anyway, that's really today's video. It's a bit raw and ready. Another miserable day. Just gone and had 4 tyres put on my car. I'm going to go back and see how much that's cost me. So yeah, you don't make much money doing this YouTube game, and it is what it is. But we carry on. We're passionate about it. We've got to do it. It's what I believe in. So thank you very much. If you have enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up and a like and all the usual things. And if you haven't become a patron and you're watching the videos and you think actually it might be a good idea, you don't have to do much. £1 a month, you know, less than a price of a cup of coffee would be fantastic. It really helps get me out, pays the petrol in the car, accommodation when we do these tours, or bits and pieces that one needs to make the videos. So it really does help. Anyway, enough. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you and see you next time. Bye bye. Cut to camera 2.